Guys, here we go in the ace match. Who would have thunk it? Here we are today, game 5 in this best of 5 between Xi.Gua and Empire.Beastyqt. This is $1,300 on the line, guys. Winner gets so much out of this. Bragging rights, money, you couldn't ask for more, but for the most part, let's jump right into this. I'm Rifkin, I'm here casting with Zeph, and spawning here in the top right corner of the map, it's going to be the Red Terran Empire.Beastyqt.
And his opponent, once again, spawning as the blue Zerg, it is Xi.Gua.
Yeah, we didn't really talk him up much, but I do want to point out for anyone who doesn't know, Xi.Gua, well, A, means watermelon, but B, more importantly, was a 2011 WCG champion for China. So, I mean, this guy is not some random player at the end of a tournament that Beasty has found. And alternatively, Beasty is a very scary, probably one of the scarier Terrans in Europe right now. So, I mean, this is a clash of the Titans, F.
Yeah, that's for sure. I saw a lot of Xi.Gua, I think, when I was casting the Taiwan Clan League, and this guy was like the guy to beat. He was so scary, such a dominance force, and I have to say, this matchup between him and Beasty has been really, really close and intense so far.
Yeah, a quick recap of everything, guys. For those who can't read starboard at the top, it's currently 2-2. So, I mean, this is... all one of these players needed was 3 wins to take it all, and this is about as even gets. We had them trading blows back and forth, game for game up until this point. Beasty taking the most recent one on Antigua Shipyard leading into this match. We'll have to see how things go, and I do want to point out, we started off game 1 talking a lot about, or not a lot about, but saying we couldn't wait to see kind of the abuse of Hellbats make their way into the game, and we have seen little to none of that come out of Beasty. In fact, sticking with this very micro-intensive, super, I guess, insane is the word I'm reaching for, biocomposition mixed with the Widow Mines.
Yeah, it's so strong, and he seems to have practiced it very well because he knows just how to position everything and utilize it to the best of his ability defensively or offensively. So it's been really, really interesting to watch, and, you know, who knows, this game he may throw out a few Hellbats again, but definitely thinking that that same core unit group that you mentioned is going to be at the center of it.
And the really cool thing here for Xi.Gua as well, like, I love praising Beasty. He's our friend, guys, and he's a Terran, I'm a Terran. But we gotta point out some of the cool things Xi.Gua has done. Now, first off, last game we saw him get a little stuck on layer tech, that's whatever. But every game prior to that, we've seen him do some really innovative things that Zerg, quite frankly, don't do, because either they're trying to macro, or they're so used to playing a certain way. One of the biggest victories I think Xi.Gua's had all game was he sent about 10 Zerglings into Beasty's base early on. Beasty was not prepared for it because of this build he does, where he goes to the command center first and the barracks on the high ground. And I mean, it shook him up. He did not have anything on the field. That game, quite frankly, it didn't look like the scary BaseTradeTV we were all used to. And Xi.Gua was able to do that with just a small handful of Zerglings.
Yeah, that's for sure. Xi.Gua does play a little bit differently, more like a growing number of Zergs that are starting to move away from that gasless expand type building, just defending on queens and getting that gas once again, allowing yourself the option to be aggressive as Xi.Gua was, and then you can do sneaky things like that with bunches of links, so I'm really glad to see him switching it up.
Yeah, and I like that he also, he went for that speed this game real quick, pulled the drones off, like, so it's not entirely gasless, but it's just a much slower gas economy, so he can have more minerals to get a base, to do a lot of Zerglings, to get queens out, whatever it is he chooses to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. And he's just setting himself up nicely for a macro game, grabbing a third now, and it's a little bit earlier than we've seen it perhaps in the last few games. So I think he's picked up on the fact that Beasty has gone for 3CC every single game.
And I see a reactor coming down on this barracks, and normally I'd be like, well, we're going to see some Hellions, Zeph, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Although I would love to be proven wrong, as Hellions are one of my favorite units in StarCraft, period. But will we see? Yeah, it's gonna be double Widow Mines. It's BaseTradeTV.
Yeah, it has to be at this point, especially when they've done such a great job so far, and a very key defensive unit. There's still 2 links hanging around for Xi.Gua, seeing what they can see. But yeah, so far neither player not really taking any damage. No influx of lings this time. Oh, nice clutch block there, denying the link scout.
Yeah, with the speed, he does actually get out with 1 alive, so he can throw that back later, go for some more scouting. Meanwhile, Xi.Gua's base, he's not really... He's only just started really getting his gas up and running, as he was looking to get that 3rd base. We'll have to see what his tech choice is going to be. But as every game on Heart of the Storm seems to be, I imagine we'll see some Mutalisks last game, man, Mutalist had Beasty on his toes all game. I don't think there was a second where he got to take a breather.
Yeah, especially since he made such a huge ball of them. And those mutas lasted a long time, and that game only ended once the muta ball died, which took a very long time. It took lots of Widow Mine hits, a few shots from the Marines,
and I feel
flying over missile turrets. They were just so bulletproof.
I feel they could have gone differently too, because it was Xi.Gua really looking to get in there and maybe, I don't want to say greedy, but over-aggressively cause damage, where Mutos, they are that sort of harass unit. They're beautiful with the speed. They get in, they get out, they do a bunch of damage, and there we go, Spire on the way. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to see who's refined their style and tailored it to their opponent's style the best in this 5th game here, because it's all on the line from here on out. They can't afford to be making mistakes, so it should be pretty damn intense.
Yeah, dollar bills, man. They make the world go round. The BC, okay, yeah, it looks like we're once more going to see very biocentric play coming out of him. Now, a lot of people have shied away from bio in Heart of the Swarm, mainly because, A, you know, you got Infestors, Banelings, they're just as big of a threat now as they are in Wings of Liberty, but more importantly, Ultralisks have been buffed so incredibly with Heart of the Swarm, it's almost impossible to deal with them is what it comes down to. For those who don't know, Ultralisks had their plus versus armor removed, and instead just made that a plus versus everything. So 47 damage, or no, 44 damage I think with plus 3, you're going to shred Marines so quick. 2 slices of those Kaiser Blades, and all the Marines are going to fall.
Yeah, that's for sure. But at the very least, Beasty and Xi.Gua are pretty much similar. Very, very, very close on the 1-1 upgrade timings. And then, of course, from there, 2-2 can be a similar timing, provided that they both start it at the same time. So as long as Beasty keeps up, he's going to have less trouble with that. But still, the Ultras, like you said, such a dominant force. And maybe, just maybe, we might even see Broodlords. I mean, we haven't seen them yet, but with that Spire, there's always the option if the game goes that long.
Yeah, we got
might go for the tech switch.
Yeah, the melee weapon's on the way too, so I mean, whether it's going to be link banning Muta and he gets stuck on that layer tech like he did last game, or whether the end game comes, I'm excited for either Zeph.
Yeah. This is a map where the end game does often visit, and I quite like to watch those split map scenarios on this map because they get pretty crazy in TVZ.
Now, it's been funny watching Beasty because you watch his early game and all the games he's both won and lost, like right around this same time. He doesn't have a lot of units. Oh, that Widow Mine was such a good hit, but there's still so many Mutalists that survive past that. Anyways, his early games really, it feels like he doesn't have that many units, despite the production. He spends so long getting the production up. It's harder for him to survive, but if he survives, he's got that production behind it.
Yeah, definitely. He relies very heavily on those well-placed Widow Mines to defend. And wow, Xi.Gua actually being really aggressive here, really does not want to let him have that third base, but he's gonna have to by the looks of it.
Yeah, and the Overseer goes down as well, suddenly making these Widow Mines that much more viable. No Mutalist will be caught just yet, though. And Beasty has secured himself with a nice wall, too, so as long as he's paying attention, there will be no sort of slip-ins, no angry Zerglings getting into the base. But Xi.Gua, man, he's getting his 4th behind this, it's already up and running. And, yeah, oh, here we go with the Banelings again, Zeph.
This guy, he's got a serious boner for these Banelings. He cannot wait to morph like 20 or 30 at a time and just send them at Beasty and test his control. And who knows, he could actually do quite a bit of damage. He could get some SCVs. Bane speed is finished too. Can he do the
Beasty's stimming forward to try and catch those Mutalists. Not the thing he wants to do here. Bane hits are going to connect with a lot of things. Widow Mines, though, doing a great job of helping. And Commencer actually lifts.
Yep, it looks like he will be able to clean that up. How much did he get out of it? 19 workers killed for Xi.Gua.
That's a bit tough for Beasties. Mules are nice, but not that nice.
And, you know, he only just established that third base, too. It's not like it's been up for a while.
Goodness,
doesn't have any extra command.
It's 74 workers to 47. Literally, reverse numbers right now. And Xi.Gua is just going to keep it up. More Banelings on the way.
Yep.
I mean, why not? They're doing great damage. Link Bane Mute is so strong.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just going to go for it again and again. He keeps making Lings. Going to keep sitting outside Beasty's base. He doesn't necessarily have to go for it all the time either. He can just kind of run in and out. And it's going to keep Beasty occupied.
Oh, but these Mutalists are all going to die! Oh no, most of them actually get away with like 1 health.
Even so, he's going to have to be so careful with those now as the ground army sweeps in and attempts to take out the rest of the bio. But the Marines
Actually,
left over,
cleaning
they
up.
do take out the mutas.
Yeah, the Mutos have like no health. They're getting one shot by these Marines. Meanwhile, BC has a drop coming down here at the 4th base, ready to move in, and Xi.Gua was completely distracted on the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's way out of position. Still, again, not investing into any static defense. Also just sitting on that latex, is really relying on his mobility to be able to hold off these drops.
He's got to be careful. Beasty kind of has this momentum that happens where he starts dropping, and once he starts dropping, he doesn't stop.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's so persistent. The first game was like a prime example of that. He would be in 3 bases at once and moving out on the map at the same time.
Well, I gotta say, as much as I enjoy casting it, I really hope someone like Husky picks up that first game. Like that.
Oh yes.
That game deserves as much exposure as it can possibly get. That is how Terran needs to play against Zerg and Heart of the Swarm.
That's for sure. So, all you Terran players out, you better get on it. Get that APM going. Those drops. I'll tell you what, he wasn't even losing units. That's the crazy thing.
Oh, Motomines coming down again, and these Mutalisks are actually going to snipe one off. Overseer's being a bit of a threat for Beasty, but so are these Banelings. And Xi.Gua's not going to get tricked again. Constantly getting stuck in those Banelings and those Marauders, and he's just, oh man, this is not looking good for Beasty. The supply number is so in Xi.Gua's favor.
Yeah, he's having such a hard time holding this off. I mean, he's not dying to it, but the continuous blows to the mineral line and the economy is what's really hurting him. And wow, more and more ground armies sweeping in here, just trying desperately
Beasty,
to get rid
actually,
of those Marines.
I don't really understand how, but he managed to level that out. We had a 174 to like 100 supply difference, but the Zerglings just weren't enough. Overseer going down as well. Now here's the good thing, we do have Xi.Gua rebuilding Mutalisks this game, whereas before in prior games he just kind of let them die off and be like, okay, stick with Zerglings, stick with Banelings, hope it works.
Yeah. Well, he really does need that though, because even with a ton of mutas in the last games, there was still a huge amount of medevacs coming out for Beasty. And this game, you know, the medevacs are actually fairly low on energy. There's not as many of them, but given the chance, Beasty will macro like a madman.
We do have Drilling Claws out now. This suddenly makes Widowmines. Oh my god! Oh, I thought so much more was going to die there. But yeah, Drilling Claws, they churn Widowmines from defensive units into offensive units, and it's really nice to be able to position them on the front lines, but those Banelings go down to a big hit. And now there's no Banelings in this force. And this is the thing too, as soon as Beasty cleans up those Banelings, these Marines become that much more deadly.
Yeah, that's for sure. And his control is really great as well. He's on par with upgrades 3-3 starting before Xi.Gua's is. Xi.Gua's still not on Hive. So if Beasty can actually head towards that 3-3 and get it way before Xi.Gua, that could be his ticket back into this game.
Yeah, he's relying a lot on these Banelings, and the thing about Banelings is while they're really nice at dealing a lot of damage, they also die in the process, so they're not exactly the most cost-effective units. They can be, but just by, you know, the way they're designed, they're not cost-effective units.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I still would really like to see maybe she could just grab the Burrow upgrade and start trying to use them as his own Widowmines. But here he comes again into the 3rd base. Tons of Banelings, tons of Lings. 190 supply to 120. Will Beasty be able to hold this next wave off? You
know, Beasty's kind of 300 here with that Spartan shield and whatnot, as he has always had the lower numbers, but he's been able to hold all of these advances. Lifting off this command center. I don't know how many times this command center has seen action today, but it's been way more than any command center I've ever seen.
Yeah, wow, we are up to 49 workers killed for Xi.Gua. It's just not having a good day with that mineral line. He
Beasty
cannot hold that big.
44 workers to 77. This has kind of been the story of the game. He has not been able to do anything. Meanwhile, Xi.Gua is getting his 5th base behind this. And this game is so much in Xi.Gua's favor. Beasty he doesn't have the supply, the Banelings, unless we start seeing some drops, something on the offensive. Okay, we do have a drop loaded up actually. Beasty cannot play defensive all game. If he plays the home game, he's gonna lose this eventually, just to attrition.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I mean, the entire game, Xi.Gua has been breathing down his neck, not giving him a second to even think about moving out.
Oh, but Beasty with his drop, he's okay. Okay, if he can get the Spire and hold this, he might be able to just come back into this game, but it's going to be close. There's so many Widowmines.
Yeah, he could break it still, though. Such a big ground army. Drops going off in the natural and 4th bases of Xi.Gua at the same time. Does he have the multitasking to still stay alive?
Well, BC is going to finally sacrifice his third base. Command Center lifted perhaps for the last time, but 3 bases under assault for Xi.Gua. He's going to lose a lot for the cost of what BC's going to lose. 1 base for 3, I think that's a pretty damn good trade.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. That is a ton.
The Spire. Yeah, okay, so the natural base wasn't picked off, but he did get the Spire for it, and all the Marines are still alive, which is a very critical part about that. In fact, all these medevacs are almost fully loaded with these Marines still. And now Xi.Gua can't attack, he has to play defensive. Without Mutalisk on the field, he literally cannot pick off these medevacs. A Queen can try, but as a Queen, it's trying. And there's 1 base mining now happening for Xi.Gua because of this.
Could he have finally brought it back? Like, I was thinking it might just be too little too late, but he may still do this. He's got the third base re-established, and 4th base is going to be landed.
He did lose all of his offensive power now, and this is the problem, because now suddenly these Banelings and Zerglings, they don't have a reason to stay home.
Yeah, that's true. He's not going to be really able to utilize these new bases. Gosh, that army is so scary. Such a huge ground army, but there's still tons of Widow Mines out. Looks like he's going to attack back into the 3rd, not let him have that base.
This poor command center! Can it not just catch a break? Ooh, Widow Mine actually sniping off one of those. Very close. Okay, Beasty's still got 1 medevac. It's fully loaded. It's outside the natural base. It's still a threat. I don't know if Xi.Gua has forgotten about it or thought it got cleaned up. But this could be just what Beasty needs to keep him at home. Because as we can see, we got a planetary fortress coming down to the 4th. Beasty starting running out of minerals as well. Main almost mined out, natural getting there as well. Xi.Gua, though, in a little bit rougher position as he can't really mine from his natural. Yeah, there comes the drop.
Yep, he's going to pick off some more drones down.
Yeah,
wow,
he's actually going to get
the workers killed.
He's going to get the hatchery, denying Burrow as well.
Oh, can he get it? Oh, he does get it. Very nice pickoff.
1 single Mutalisk chasing around the medevac now. But Beasty, look at this. Okay, here's what's so crazy about this. Look at the supply. Suddenly, Beasty, for the first time in this game, is ahead in supply. This is what he's been pushing and working for so diligently all game.
Yeah, I cannot believe he's actually looking like this all of a sudden in this game. He's doing so well.
I love Beasty. I'm cheering for Beasty, but I can't believe he's managed to turn it around the way he's done. And suddenly, again, without that hive tech, we're still sitting on Lair, and I don't know that Lair will be enough to beat this beat Beasty, because this is shaping up to be exactly like last game.
Yeah, it sure is. He is at 3-3, and you know 2-2, no hive. He's really relying on the Banelings to be able to take out Spire, and can he catch him while he's morphing? He could actually move in here and pick off some units before the rest of the army is ready to fight. A counterattack into the 3rd is going to get cleaned up by the bunker.
Look at those Widow Mines, though. All he has to do is retreat over top of them, and these Banelings are going to be kaput. Meanwhile, the 3rd base of BC was under attack, but there's a bunker there, thank goodness, loaded full of Marines. You want to talk about static defense? That's what you got to do.
That's for sure. BaseTradeTV
Oh,
with the
but here we
supply
go.
lead.
Big clash of Banelings running right over top of the Widow Mines! Oh my god, the Banelings! They're non-existent!
So many of those died. There's not that much bio left, but gosh, those Widow Mines are still
Well, you know,
alive.
with the planetary, actually, Xi.Gua can't push out. Period. Those Widow Mines are about to recharge their attack, and the planetary is there. Beasty is looking in the best position he's possibly looked at. This is just epic. There's no better words. I try to avoid using that word because everyone uses it, but this is an epic game, Zev.
Yeah, Beasty out of nowhere just pulls out all these drops, evens up the game, and he's continuing to push, seeing what he can do.
Oh, Widow Mines again coming into play!
My
The Banelings are gonna try! There's no more Widow Mines still, but there's a lot of bio.
Oh, this is so brutal.
And GG! Beasty. Oh, Beasty.